Hello, and welcome to another Lawn Fawn video. Today I am so excited because we are introducing a bunch of new products, starting with our You're Just My Type stamp set and its coordinating dies. Then we have the Love Poem stamp set and its coordinating dies. And we also have a new reveal wheel window. We have the reveal wheel square window add-on. To go along with this window add-on, we also have our awesome templates that make it really easy to line up in there. So in those templates, we have two different ones, one with 3 openings and one with 4 openings. In this video, we're going to be going over all of these products, and we're also going to be making 4 different cards. We'll be making a combo card with all of the products together, a card with just You're Just My Type, a card with just Love Poems, and then a really awesome pull tab combining these products again together. So we're so excited, and let's go ahead and start off with stamping out You're Just My Type. First, we have a typewriter with the paper already in it, and then we have a typewriter with the paper separate, and you'll see why we have that in just a little bit. Then we have some really cute keys that you can add to the keyboards or not. So this one has that adorable little heart in the center. That one there is a plain one, and then one with a smiley face, of course. So we're going to add the smiley face to the typewriter on the right. We have a really awesome desk for our typewriter to sit on, and then a cute little mouse that can be typing on the typewriter or looking up at the typewriter, a desk lamp, and 2 hearts, an open heart and a solid heart. Next, we have some awesome sentiments, and they fit perfectly in that piece of paper for the typewriter. So we have our Happy Valentine's Day, and then we're going to stamp out the rest of them. We've got, of course, You're Just My Type. Gotta love those puns. We have Love You, and then underneath you can stamp like a lot, which is really cute. We have I Could Have Just Texted, but I made you this card, which is adorable. We have You Light Up My Life, which is really fun with that lamp. There's an XOXOXO and also a hi, which I really love that right in the center of that paper. We have an I Heart You, and then a set of 3 hearts, which is really cute to stamp underneath any of those words, and some little quote marks too. So we've got the quote on the right and the left that you can put around any of these phrases. I absolutely love this heart that's made out of typed out little XOs. It's so cute and it fits perfectly in the paper. It's a really cute thing for creating some custom backgrounds too. And then we have some smiley faces that you can add into the typewriter paper or also onto the desk. And then those cute little rosy cheeks that you can stamp on either side of the smiley face. We even have rosy cheeks for that teeny little smiley face for the typewriter keys. We have a shine mark for the lamp, and then we have some phrases that help with making interactive cards. So we have pull here, which is great for a pull tab card or maybe a magic picture changer card. We also have a push here, which would be really fun with Chibitronics with that lamp, and a turn me for reveal wheel cards. This set is so great for interactive cards. So here we have our Love Poem stamp set, and there's 2 different papers there because it has a mouse and 2 different little faces, and they're so cute and sweet. We also have a ding and a click-clack that you can stamp around that typewriter. This set has a ton of different sentiments which can be used on their own or in those little papers, or you can mix this with You're Just My Type. So I love that these sets work great on their own and work great together, and we're going to be showing you that in the cards today in the video. So you'll see we have a nice day, sending hugs, hello to you, and then we have roses are red, violets are blue, and a bunch of phrases that can go with that. So sugar is sweet and so are you. I made this card especially for you. I'm lucky to have a friend like you. If you were a flower, I would pick you. Then we have just a note to say, I'm so happy for you, happy birthday to you, enjoy your day, you make me smile, thank you so very much, you're seriously the best, you're awesome, woohoo, which I love, you are amazing, I really like you, Happy Mother's Day. Then we have Happy Father's Day. These you can see you can mix and match any of these all together. We have Feel Better Soon, You Did It, woohoo, Miss You. And then we also have I Can't Rhyme, which is really cute. You can do roses are red, violets are blue, just a note to say, and then you could say something like thank you very much. I can't rhyme, which I think is so cute. It makes me laugh every single time. We have a look inside for a card that maybe you stamp one phrase on the outside and one on the inside. And then just a little note to say in 2 different styles and an ellipses in case you need to add that to the end of any of your phrases. Now it's time to start adding some color to these adorable images, and we're going to be using some Copic markers. And first up, we're coloring the You're Just My Type stamp set. And I love this stamp set so much because when we were creating this stamp set, we wanted to create a stamp set that worked with almost every single one of our interactive dies. And we thought, how can we do this? And we came up with this really cool typewriter idea. So in this stamp set, you can create, of course, just standard cards. You could do something on the inside, something on the outside, and then you can use it with different interactive dies. So it's awesome in Magic Picture Changer. It looks amazing with Reveal Wheel. I love it with our Let's Toast pull tab. We're going to be showing you that in the video today. It's great with Flippin' Awesome. You can come up with so many cool ideas. It works with Chibitronics. Like, this set is so much fun because you can mix and match it with all of your favorite interactive dies. The other thing I really like about this set is it's super cute for Valentine's Day, but it has a ton of longevity all throughout the year, especially when you combine it with that Love Poem stamp set. In that Love Poem stamp sets, you saw we have from Mother's Day to Feel Better to all sorts of different things. So you can mix and match what you put in that typewriter paper and come up with the coolest ideas. Here I'm starting to add color to this desk, and I really like coloring it in different grays because it reminds me of those old kind of metal desks. I think it'd be really fun to even color it into that kind of like avocado-y color, so it would look like kind of a 70s, 60s looking metal desk, which I think it has that look. You can also get really creative and color it in all sorts of different combinations, or you can color the drawers different than the rest of the base of the desk. I just think it's so much fun. We have a really cool idea with a wood grain stamp that we're going to show you later on in this video too. So you can see I'm adding my darkest color as a highlight, blending out with my medium, and then going out into my light in the middle of those drawers. For the lamp, I'm going to be switching to some cool grays. I think it has the look of one of those kind of like IKEA lamps kind of thing. So think about that cool gray. It just really matches with this lamp style, which I think is just adorable. And then we'll add some nice light yellow for the little light there in it. And for our mouse, we're going to be using some E50s. But this cool thing about this mouse is you can do different shades of brown or different shades of gray, depending on what's going to look the best on your card. Next up, we're going to add some color to the Love Poem stamp set. And so we're going to be coloring in these adorable little mice. I love how they're holding the papers. Like, I just can't with how cute this is. So we're going to color that little mouse to match the mouse we did earlier, and then use some warm grays for the other guys. So you can see the mixes of browns and grays. And for those papers there, you can either leave them blank white, or if you want to give them a little extra definition, you can use your very lightest blue marker or your very lightest warm gray marker, and it just gives the paper a little extra something. These are the coordinating dies for your Just My Type, and you can bend these apart at the tabs or use your wire snips to separate them. The other cool thing in this die is that we have two special dies in there. You're going to see we have this piece here that makes the pull tab work, and then we've got that little piece there which makes Reveal Wheel work, and we'll be showing you how both of those work in this video. We're going to line up those dies with our stamped images, hold them in place with some Post-it note tape, run it through the die cut machine, and have perfectly cut out images you can see are just absolutely adorable. And here is a look and everything in the Your Just My Type stamp set. So you've got the typewriter that's separate from the paper, and all those cute little desk accessories to mix and match. So you'll see how we can use that paper to go in and out for the pull tab we'll be doing later. And then you can see how fun it is to decorate that desk. And the mouse can either be typing at the typewriter or looking up from the floor. Here's that tiny square die that was in that set, and you'll see that it fits perfectly in the paper, either the separate paper or the paper that's already in the typewriter. So you're going to line that up with the inside of that stamped line, run it through the die cut machine. It's going to give you this perfect size opening that's going to work perfectly with that Reveal Wheel square window add-on. And you'll see that that's going to fit all of those phrases in both the Your Just My Type and the Love Poem stamp sets perfectly, so you can look right through that window and see all of those phrases. The other specialty die in the Your Just My Type is that small slot, and that's to work perfectly with the Let's Toast pull tab. So you'll see it's just a little bit shorter than the one that was originally included, so that it's the perfect size to line up with the typewriter. We'll be showing you how to create a Reveal Wheel and a pull tab card later on in this video. Here are the coordinating dies for the Love Poem stamp set, which you can break apart at the tabs or use your wire snips to separate. We're going to take those dies and we're going to line it up with that mouse paper there. So you'll notice it's just one die because that die works with both of the different mice. So you're going to use the same exact die to cut out the other style of mouse paper there. So we'll run that through the die cut machine, and now we have both of those die cut. You'll see in that die set that there's kind of a funny looking die. That's going to work just like that small square die that we used from the Your Just My Type stamp set. So it's going to fit right in the center and cut that opening out so that you can use it with Reveal Wheel. So you can either have a plain mouse paper there or you can have the one with the opening, which once again is going to fit all of the phrases from both Your Just My Type and the phrases from Love Poems perfectly. This is the Reveal Wheel Square Window add-on. You can break them apart at the tabs or use your wire snips to separate them. And this is a new style of window for your Reveal Wheel. So you can pop that right into your Reveal Wheel and die cut a Reveal Wheel cover piece that's going to have a square-shaped window. The die set comes with two different styles of frames, so you can add that cute little scallop frame or the plain stitched frame. And I love this because you can use this square window with a ton of the phrases in all of the other Reveal Wheel sentiment stamp sets, and it's just a cool new window. But the other cool thing is it's sized perfectly to work with both Love Poems and Your Just My Type, so you can mix and match everything here. So you can put that cute little mouse there and cover that Reveal Wheel square opening, or you can put your typewriter there too. So I love how you can mix and match the different sets and get all of these different looks. Now it's time to get crafty, and we're going to start off with a Reveal Wheel card. So here I've got all my different Reveal Wheel windows and pieces. I'm going to take my main Reveal Wheel piece and wheel and that smaller circle base, and we're also going to be taking out that brand new Reveal Wheel square window add-on because we're going to be making a Reveal Wheel combining Your Just My Type and Love Poems with this whole thing all together. So we're going to drop in that square window, and we're going to be cutting some of this spiffy speckles paper, and I love those yellow speckles so much. They're just so happy. So we're going to die cut one of those pieces with a square window, and then we're going to remove that square window, and I'm just going to cut a plain piece of white cardstock to be the base for my Reveal Wheel. We're also going to die cut the main wheel and the smaller wheel base. Now, if you've never made a Reveal Wheel, make sure to check out the Intro to Reveal Wheel video, and we'll link that in the description below. We're also going to die cut a piece of the spring fling paper. This is the back side of it with that Reveal Wheel piece, once again without the window. And we're going to use that to cut a little ground for our desk to stand on. So I'm using a simple hillside border here. We're just going to line that up close to the bottom there, hold it in place with some low tack tape, and run it through the die cut machine. We're going to stamp the Just a Note to Say that comes in the Love Poem stamp set in some black licorice ink along that bottom. Then we can add some Typewriter to that and layer that onto our Reveal Wheel window piece. We went ahead and stamped and colored some images from both Your Just My Type and also the Love Poem stamp set. So we've got that cute little desk, we have the typewriter without the paper, a lamp of course, then we've got that little mouse paper there. So we're going to use the paper from the Love Poem set instead of the paper that's in the Your Just My Type set. And we're going to use that smaller little kind of funky square die that's included in the Love Poems die set to die cut that opening so that we're going to be able to layer that paper over that Reveal Wheel window. So we'll add some liquid glue to the back with a glue tube and just layer that right over that opening. And I just love that cute little mouse. Oh my goodness, he's just adorable. Then I'll go ahead and start building this scene from the top down. So we're going to add our typewriter covering up the bottom edge of that paper. So it looks like that paper is coming right out of the typewriter. And then we're going to layer the desk underneath the typewriter and then add our accessories. So we're adding the lamp on with some foam squares. And then we're just going to layer that mouse right at the bottom, and he's looking up at his other little mouse friend there at the top of that typewriter paper. Next up, we have our wheel, and we're going to be using the templates with it. So you'll see there's a 3 opening and a 4 opening. And in this case, I wanted to use the 4 opening because I wanted to do the whole roses are red, violets are blue thing. We're going to hold that template in place with some low tack tape, some post-it note tape or washi tape, and then we're going to mix and match a bunch of the sentiments from the Love Poem stamp set. And what I love about this is you can mix and match any that you would want. So as we stamp them, we're going to do roses are red, violets are blue. We're going to give it a clockwise turn and stamp each next phrase. So in this case, we're going to use the I can't rhyme thing because I think it's just so funny. And we're going to stamp all those, and the template has put them in perfect placement, makes it super easy, don't need to use any pencil lines or anything. We're just going to stamp those out, and now we can start to build our Reveal Wheel. So we're going to take that mini little brad there, we're going to put it up through that smaller wheel base and then up through that larger wheel that we just stamped. And we'll open up those prongs to secure it in place. Next, we'll flip that wheel over, and we're going to add some small squares onto that smaller wheel base surrounding the brad, but not touching the brad. Then we can remove the liner paper on those little foam squares, flip our piece over, and we're going to line it up by looking through our window and lining up our phrase inside. So I'm going to take that phrase, center it in perfectly. Now I know it's in perfect placement, and I can line this whole piece up with our reveal wheel card base. So we're going to line it up and press down, and that's going to attach our wheel to the base of our reveal wheel. And you can see how that's going to spin already. Next, we're going to add some foam squares all around that wheel, but not touching that wheel. We'll remove the liner paper on those, and then we can layer our decorated piece on top, and that's going to form our reveal wheel mechanism. And I just think these are so much fun, and what I love about it is that you can change those phrases to be anything. So this same card design could be a bunch of different cards. It could be from birthday to feel better to even Happy Mother's Day. So here we have some paper from the Really Rainbow collection that's so bright and happy and colorful. And I wanted to use the Turn Me arrow from the You're Just My Type stamp set. So we're going to lay that cover there on top just as a guide as to where to stamp it. I'm going to move it out of the way so I don't get any ink on it by mistake. And then stamp the Turn Me right on to my pattern paper. Then we can add some foam squares to the back of our reveal wheel mechanism and layer that onto our card front. Here we have a standard size card base, and we're going to layer some tape runner on there and then put our whole card right on top. And our card is all done, and it's so super cute. It makes me smile so much. So we're going to spin that wheel. It's going to be roses or red, violets or blue. Just a note to say, you are amazing. I can't rhyme. It just cracks me up. I think it's so cute and sweet and just so fun and happy, and I had such a blast playing with all of these really bright, happy, rainbowy colors. Now here's another really similar idea that we made, but instead we said, if you were a flower, I would pick you. So roses are red, violets are blue. If you were a flower, I would pick you. So you can see how you can mix and match all of these sentiments and phrases to get totally different looks depending on how you create your card. For the next card, we're going to be using You're Just My Type without the love poems and without the reveal wheel add-on. So we're just going to be using it on its own. And we're going to create some custom pattern paper to add to our desk. So this is the Woodgrain Backdrop. We've got some paper bag cardstock and some dough ink. And we're going to stamp that to create a wood grain pattern. You could also use some pattern paper here, and I think that would look really nice, like a polka dotted desk or anything with some cool texture. We'll stamp one more strip of that wood grain just to fill up the paper a little bit more so that we can fill in the entire desk with that wood grain. So here you can see we're going to line up that desk on that pattern. And what's cool is we've stamped enough where you could actually stamp a couple of desks and have them ready for lots of different cards. So we're going to stamp that desk in some black ink right on top. And you'll see that now it looks like that whole desk is a wood grain desk, which I think is a really, really cool look. So now we can use the coordinating die and die cut that guy out. And I think it looks just amazing. Here we have some spiffy speckles paper, and we're going to die cut that with the largest of the stitched rectangles, which is 5.5 by 4.25. We're also going to die cut a piece of white cardstock with that same rectangle, and that's going to be the floor for our desk. So we're going to layer that pink paper onto a 5.5 by 4.25 inch card base, and then we're going to layer that little strip of white there to be our floor. Next up, we've got our typewriter that already has the paper in it, and then a bunch of extra pieces of paper. And we're going to be stamping a bunch of the phrases from the You're Just My Type stamp set in there. So we'll just take out our black licorice ink and start filling in these papers. And today we're recreating a card by Elena, so thank you so much, Elena, for this awesome card design. So we're going to stamp You're Just My Type, Love You, I Heart You. We're also going to be stamping out the cool little XOXO. And what I like about this guy is you can actually stamp a bunch of them. So we're going to layer those two on there. And then, of course, a smiley face for our main typewriter, which I think absolutely looks adorable in that paper. Now to finish him up, we're going to give him some of those rosy cheeks that are included in the set. So we're going to stamp that in some bubblegum ink and stamp that right underneath his eyes. And you'll see those rosy cheeks just make it absolutely adorable. To give the desk a little shine, we're going to add some white gel pen marks. I really like this too because it gives it kind of a cartoony look, which goes really cute with the smiley face we have in the typewriter. And so now we can start to form this cute design. So we're going to add some foam squares to the back of the desk and layer that onto the floor. And then we can add a cute little mouse, and so he's going to be looking up from the floor up at that smiling typewriter, which we'll add with some foam squares as well. Then we'll add that cute little desk lamp, this time in a turquoise color, which I think is a really fun, just pop of color for this card. And we'll add those on there with some foam squares. And next we're going to play around with these papers. So these papers are going to be flying in the air as if somebody was typing all of this stuff and the papers were just flying everywhere. And to really give it that look of flying, we're going to curve the edges of this paper. So all you have to do is take your finger and just kind of slowly curve around your finger and just kind of force that paper to curl in different edges. And you can see it gives this card so much life just to add those cute little curves. So we're going to do that with all the papers and kind of place them around the card where we think might look nice. So once you've got good placement, then you can go ahead and add your adhesive to the back of all these and layer them on there. And you'll see that we're only adding adhesive to the part that isn't curled, so we still have that part that's sticking up in the air, which I think looks just amazing. Now to finish it up, we're going to stamp the ding and the click clack from the set too, which I think is just so cute. So we're going to stamp those on there, which is just adorable. And the card is all done. I love that you could put any of the phrases in this card. You could bring in the love poem stamp set and use some of those and get super creative with this same design. Now that we've used You're Just My Type on its own, we're going to use Love Poems on its own. So what we've done is we've gone ahead and stamped a bunch of those cute little mouse papers in the two different styles and added some color to the paper this time. So we've got pink papers and yellow papers. And these are going to go on a grid on the card. So we're going to put them as a grid onto the mat here to decide what sentiments we can put in there. And the cool thing is you could use any of the Love Poem sentiments. But in this case, I wanted to make more of like a You're Awesome card instead of a Valentine's card. So we're going to use all of those types of phrases and stamp them in the papers in some black licorice ink. I have my chamois in my chamois case there right off to the side, so after I stamp each one, I can clean it, put it back on the sheet, and move on to another sentiment. For this card, we're doing all sentiments, but I think it would be really cute to put images in these like hearts or maybe some smaller images from different stamp sets would be absolutely adorable too. So I love that this is a card design that could be repeated with all these different ideas and different themes. Next, we're going to create a background for these cute little mice papers. So we're going to die cut a large stitched rectangle, it's the largest one, from some white cardstock, and we're going to do some blending with some different distressings here. So we have evergreen bough and peacock feathers, and we're going to be using some blender brushes to bring that color on, starting from the outside and moving towards the middle. And we're going to be moving back and forth between these two colors to create this really cool paper that's going to kind of have a little bit of a lighter look towards the middle. I love the mix of these two colors layered over top of each other. It's absolutely beautiful. Now to create some texture, we're going to be creating some splatters from a little bit of distress ink, that same peacock feathers color. So we're going to smear a little bit onto the craft mat, then we'll add some water, and then we can pick it up with a paintbrush and spaddle some droplets all around. And these droplet splatters are going to look amazing because they're going to be just a little bit darker than the ink that's already on there, so they'll be subtle but add a ton of texture. We're also going to add some water to this white paint and add some white splatters too, and I really love the mix of the white with that darker blue. We'll dry that background with a heat tool, and then we're going to add it into a misty damping tool. And we're going to take all those cute little mice papers and align them in that same grid again. We're going to leave that space in the center there because we're going to stamp another sentiment from Love Poems in there. So we're going to put that right in the middle, and I love that break of space between all of the little mice papers. We're just going to have the just a note to say and then all of those other cute sentiments. So we're going to add that background paper to a standard size card base at 5.5 by 4.25. Then we can add some foam squares to the back of all of our cute little mice papers there and start to arrange them onto the card into that grid pattern again. I like to kind of arrange them on there first and then peel up the liner paper and stick them down just so you can kind of have an idea of how it's going to all look before they're permanently adhered. And now you can see how adorable it is. I really like that they're not perfectly in a grid. They're all kind of like a little bit crooked. That's what makes it just so adorable. And now this card is all done using just the Love Poem stamp set, and I love that the same idea could be translated to all sorts of different types of cards depending on what sentiments or images you put in the little papers. Now it's time to make our pull tab card. So I've used the largest outside in stitched rectangle here to die cut some vanilla malt cardstock, and we're going to take out that Let's Toast pull tab die and a ruler here. And so I'm going to use the ruler as a guide to help me center this little notch die. Now if you've never made one of these Let's Toast pull tabs, make sure to check out the intro video. We're going to link it in the description below. So I used that ruler as a guide to help me line up my piece. I held it in place with some low-tack tape, and then we're going to run it through the die cut machine, and now we're going to have our notch in perfect placement. These are the new Just Stitching Heart dies, and what's cool about these is that they just stitch. So we're going to add these onto the card for some really cool texture. We're going to take the second largest one and hold that in place with some low-tack tape, and then take the next two smallest ones and fit them right on the inside. I think this is a really cute look with these three concentric hearts. So we'll hold them all in place and run it through the die cut machine, and then we're going to have this beautiful stitch detail onto the front of our card. I've stamped a typewriter from Your Just My Type, and then we're going to take one of the sentiments from Love Poems and stamp it in the paper that comes in the Your Just My Type stamp set, and we're going to be using the Thank You Very Much. To add some more detail to those beautiful stitched hearts, we're going to create a mask and do some ink blending. So this here is a full stick post-it note, and it's not quite big enough, so we're going to take two of them and layer them together to create a bigger post-it area, and we're going to cut those Just Stitching hearts right into those post-its. Then we're going to take our scissors and cut along the outside edge. And this is actually really, really easy because your scissors will just kind of fit right into those stitching lines. So you'll see I'm just kind of like following those stitching lines, and it's actually super, super easy. So we're going to be cutting out that heart, and we're actually going to be saving the outside part of this mask, and we're going to put it right along that heart shape. Then we can repeat the same thing with the other piece of the post-it. So we're just going to cut right along that line there and just layer that right on top. To protect the rest of my work surface, I'm going to take the inside part of those hearts and just cut them apart and cover up the top, and I'll cut apart one more post-it to cover up the bottom. I'm kind of a messy inker, so I really wanted to make sure I protected the rest of my paper. We're going to take some wild rose ink and an ink blender brush, and we're going to just do one color of ink, but we're going to kind of keep it darker towards the outside and then lighter towards the middle / bottom. So we're just going to ink that on there, and you can see that stitching line. It's just popping. It's so pretty. Then for some extra detail, we're going to take some white paint here. We're going to mix it with some water and add some white splatters. And right now I'm recreating a card by Elise, but hers wasn't interactive. I'm taking her same idea, but making it into a pull tab, which is really, really fun. And it's so fun to be inspired by my awesome creative friends. So now we're going to pull up those masks, which is my favorite part, and we get to reveal the heart, and you can see how beautiful that looks. I love the white splatters and how that pink ink really just makes that stitching pop. We've die cut a fancy folded banner out of some pencil eraser ink, and we're going to be doing some heat embossing here. So we're going to stamp the Just a Little Note to Say from Love Poems on there with some clear embossing ink. We're going to add some white heat embossing powder on there and then heat it up with our heat tool to get this really cool raised texture. The You're Just My Type stamp set comes with a desk lamp, which is super, super cute, but I thought it would be fun to find some other desk-like things. And so Elise did this in her card, and I thought it was so clever. She went through a bunch of stamp sets and found some cool images that might work. So we have a glass from Ho Ho Holidays, we have flowers from Easter Party, and a little pencil from our really cool little Plan On It School stamp set. I love those tiny little images for cards. So we're going to fold along the score lines that the die created for us. We'll fold back on the first one and then in the other direction on the outside score line, and that's going to give us this cool three-dimensional banner. We're going to add some tape runner behind those folds so that we can attach them all nice and flat, because that's going to help us when we go to create our pull tab mechanism. Once we have those all adhered, we're going to add a little bit of tape runner to the front of that typewriter, and we're going to layer that behind the banner. So just a tiny little strip, and we'll layer it behind just like that. Now it's time to start working on this whole interactive element, and we're going to be using that smaller pull tab piece that comes in the You're Just My Type coordinating die set. So the first thing we need to decide is, where is that slot going to go? So we're going to take our typewriter and our little piece of paper and kind of play around with the paper in the typewriter and then the paper coming up and seeing where those two positions are. We want to pick the position where the paper is inside the typewriter as much as possible. So we're going to push it down, kind of see where it's going to go. I didn't really need to make a pencil mark because I'm going to use the little bottom tip of that heart as my guide. But if you didn't have something like that on your paper, you could just put a tiny little pencil mark on there and just erase it later. So we're going to take that slot die and line it up with that bottom point of the heart, and then we can hold it in place with some low tack tape, and we're going to run that through the die cut machine. Next, we've die cut that cool little pull tab mechanism that comes in the Let's Toast pull tab set, and it has little score lines for you. So we're going to fold in on the one closest to the center and then out on the one closest to the outside. And we're going to do that on both of these pieces. So it's going to create kind of like a little Z-like fold. So now we'll repeat it in and out. And that's how this piece is going to look. We're then going to hold those two pieces together and we're going to feed them through that slot. So you'll see we're going to take that piece and kind of feed it through the top, just like that. And then that's how we're going to get it through. Then we can open them up. And now it's ready to put our paper on there. So we're going to add some tape runner to those little pieces there. And our piece of typewriter paper is going to fit perfectly on that piece. Even though it was originally meant for our toaster, it's going to work perfectly for our typewriter. Next, we're going to add our stabilizer piece to the back. So we've die cut that and we fold it along the two score lines. We're going to add some tape runner to the back of that center kind of panel we created by folding those pieces. And then we're going to wrap that around our pull tab. And then we can stick that piece down to the card base. So it's going to wrap around like that, and it's going to attach right to that card base. And that's going to keep our pull tab moving nice and straight up and down and not going side to side. We'll add some tape runner to the inside of that smaller tab piece on the left, and then we can attach that, wrapping it around. So we're going to put the bigger piece and the smaller piece on top, and that's going to keep our piece moving nice and straight. Now it's time to add that typewriter, and we want to add some foam squares to the outside part of the banner, making sure that they're not going to get in the way of that paper moving up and down. And then we can layer that over the piece of paper, and we've got the paper in the down position. So as we layer that over there, we're going to make sure the paper is just peeking out just a little bit from the typewriter. Now in this case we used a banner, but you could have used that cute little desk from the You're Just My Type stamp set too. So we're going to layer that on there, and now you see when we pull the pull tab, that paper is going to pop out of the typewriter, and it's the cutest thing. Now we're going to start to decorate our desk area. So we're going to add that cute little lamp that comes in the You're Just My Type. We're going to add those Easter party flowers into the cup from Ho Ho Holidays. We can add that on with some foam squares, and then a little foam square behind that cute little pencil from Plan On It School. So make sure to kind of shop your stash and see what you can find to create cute little desk items. And now you can see I'm still just playing with the pull tab because I think it's just so much fun. So to add a little bit more decoration, we're going to add some more hearts. And this is the new Heart Shaker tag die, which is so much fun. And we're going to take that die there that's meant to create confetti to shake around in the tag. Well, we're going to use those little hearts, kind of like almost little confetti or sequins on our card. So we're going to put 3 hearts coming up out of the typewriter and one tiny little heart at the very end of that typewriter paper, which I think is just so adorable. Then we'll add some foam squares to the back of the card, making sure not to touch that pull tab piece because we want it to move nice and freely. And we can attach that onto a standard size white card base. It's going to be 5.5 by 4.25. That'll give it a nice little border, and I like the contrast between the vanilla malt and the white cardstocks. To trim our pull tab to the perfect length, you want to push your paper all the way into the typewriter, and then we're going to trim off any of the excess. Then the die comes with a cool little pull tab. That's in the Let's Toast pull tab die set. We're going to die cut that from that same pencil eraser cardstock, and we're going to stamp the pull here that's in the You're Just My Type stamp set. We'll fold that little die in half, and then we can add some tape runner to the inside and attach it onto our pull tab. This is going to tell the recipient what to do, and I really like that it echoes that same pink cardstock that's at the very bottom of the card. And now this cute pull tab card is all done, and how adorable is this? I love that you could change that sentiment to be anything that you would like. You could change up the color palettes, but the pull tab is just so much fun. You could even do the little paper with the mouse on it, which would be adorable too. And then, of course, no crafting session is right without my cute little Daphne. She just had to come walk on over and say hi to you guys. She's just my cute little girl. So next up, I have some awesome cards from the design team to share with you guys. They're absolutely incredible. And first up, we have a gorgeous card by Elena, and I love the color palette she used with the browns and the reds. Just gorgeous. And then this is the card by Elena that inspired us to make ours today. I love how she has the hearts in the little mice papers. I love how Letitia used the hearts in this set to create a one-layer card that is absolutely stunning. These cards by Tammy are so much fun. I love those heart windows with the cute little mice in their typewriters, the sweetest thing ever. And then this card by Elena is the one that inspired us to make ours today, and I love that pink background. Maureen shows us how amazing these sets are with Flippin' Awesome. We have the roses are red, violets are blue, and as you keep flipping it, you get the rest of the phrase, sugar is sweet, and so are you. And then we have that cute little I heart you heart at the end, which is just adorable. This card by Megan Quinn is so much fun, and it's a really, really cool reveal wheel card, so as you spin it, it has 3 different phrases. This card by Elise is so cute. I love her bright rainbow colors, absolutely adorable. And then this card by Tammy is so much fun. Those heart doilies in the background really give that feeling of Valentine's Day. I love how Melissa used our fall floral paper, fall fling, for wallpaper in the background. It's such a cool look. And this card by Audrey is so much fun. She uses our new XOXO backdrop, which I love with the typewriter. It's a really cool look. Yanea created a really awesome pull tab too, and when you pull it, you can see the mouse kind of pop up with the "You are amazing," and I just love that look. And then this card by Maureen is so much fun. She has reveal wheel going on, and I love how she used the quotation marks. Maureen also created this really cool, fun rainbow pattern here, and I love how she has the 4 typewriters with the different sayings. And this card by Lynette is so cute. I love her color palette with the craft and the red. It's just gorgeous. And here Grace shows us how these sets are perfect for Magic Picture Changer. As you pull, there's 2 different phrases on the little typewriter paper. So I can't wait to see what you guys do with these stamp sets and how you mix and match them, so make sure to share it with us. Thank you so much for watching today, and I hope you guys have an absolutely amazing day. Bye!